About an hour away from us here in Jackson, Tennessee, is the sweet little town of Covington, Tennessee. My husband and I found it because it has an auction house there, and that's one of our forms of entertainment is to go to auctions. But as we walked around the square yesterday, we happened upon, for the second time, this Buckaroo Hatters, and I decided to pull out my phone and interview the owner. Well, I am in Covington, Tennessee, and we're in a hat shop. He's got an article on his hats here in this magazine. So what's your name, sir?
My name is Mike Moore.
Mike Moore. So how long you been making hats?
I've been making hats now going on 25, 26 years.
And you taught yourself how to do it.
And I have trained 15 hat people over my career in the last 10 years that have gone on and opened up very successful hat businesses.
Well, that's great. I'm filming you because I have a fashion blog.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I asked you what most hats are made out of, and I was smart enough to say beaver, and I was
beaver
right.
Fur. And all beaver is captured in North America.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Then they're sent to places overseas where they're processed and the fur is sent back to the United States where the hat body factory turns them into a raw body that we get.
Why can't we process them here?
I don't know why. I have never been told. I guess it's probably a labor cost. Or maybe something to do with the EPA. Never can tell.
Huh. So one hat needs one beaver?
Do what?
One hat needs one beaver?
No. A hat body for a Western hat takes 7 ounces of fur. And when it's processed and goes through them machines that look like old Eli cotton cleaning machines,
yeah,
it's a very fluffy down that looks like cotton candy.
Huh.
And then that hat is put on a cone, stands about 4 foot tall, and that hat body at that time is at its weakest state. It's like a wet newspaper on Sunday morning.
Yes.
Then it goes through a process where it condenses it and pulls it together to make a hat body that we hatters get a hold of. And I spend 8 hours of hand sanding that body and I get to make a hat.
Huh. A lot of seamstresses and craftspeople are familiar with the felting process.
Right.
And a wet felting process. So do you use any moisture in all of this?
Dry steam.
I was going to ask steam, yeah.
The only way you can make a hat with dry steam, you know. If you try to do something else, you might be pushing a rope down the street.
So you actually give it the curl and everything.
They're all by hand. Yep, here's the machines.
Huh.
This machine right here built in 1890. That one, that finger blocker, right? You couldn't give me $50,000 cash for that machine right now.
That's a finger blocker?
Finger blocker. It allows me to put them blocks in them hats and block them in there to keep them brims flat so I can sand them and so forth. You know.
Well, this is an art. I'm so glad to hear that you've taught others how to do it. You know, we just can't let some of all this good stuff go away.
And this is what the body feels like right there before I do my work to it.
Before you sand it.
And see, that's the brim can't be sanded like that. Now the crown can be sanded. That brim has to be flat, flat, flat to sand that brim. So what I'll do is I'll take this hat here and put it in this machine I built and get that brim flat, flat, flat like that one. And then I'll sand that brim top and bottom and put it back in there.
What makes it so thick and stiff?
That's the amount of fur and stiffener in there for a Western hat. Dress hats, here's a dress hat body right here.
Yes.
That's a dress hat. That hadn't got the stiffener in it like, you know, that's a pure beaver dress body. I haven't done any sanding to it yet. It'll take me 8 hours of sanding that hat.
And what do you sand it with?
Sandpaper.
What's like 004?
Not going to disclose that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all very interesting.
If you come over here, you'll see one of his hats.
Okay, on you, sir, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's pretty dapper there.
Mr. Thurl probably owns 65 of my custom handmade hats.
Whoa.
I own as many hats as he does.
I really like that band
He's got
on
more
it.
hats than I got.
Yeah. Now I do the bands. I do the bands like I do this this cane.
Yeah. So what is kind of a form of macrame?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's to keep my darn canes from staying in the restaurants or places when I stop on the wrong side of the highway.
So do you have a favorite hat?
The one I'm wearing right now.
Well, I like that pretty well.
And tomorrow when I change hats, it'll be the one I'm wearing tomorrow.
You make the other ones feel lonely.
Oh, but I get around tomorrow.
Okay.
I usually select my hat and then dress to match it.
I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you, sir. Looking closer at his hat, you can see that around the brim, that is a straight grosgrain ribbon that has a stripe on it. So, of course, I noticed how perfectly that stripe is centered on that brim. And then the gray-haired gentleman, owner of this hat, told me that that's parachute cord worked over an additional cord through the center, and he made that band on his hat. And speaking of the bands, there were so many to choose from here at the Buckaroo Hatters shop. These were hand beaded ones that the gray-haired gentleman had done, and those sold for just $50 a piece. Okay, so I asked him what got him started wearing hats, and he said to keep the sun off. And that was down in New Mexico?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what brought you to Tennessee?
The U.S. Navy.
Okay.
And I found a native girl here from, and that's why we stayed.
Good place. So why did the Navy bring you to Tennessee?
To teach and to go to school out at Millington.
Okay. To learn.
Hydraulics and pneumatics.
Interesting. So then I eyed an open sewing type area in another corner of the shop and wandered over there and heard all of this explanation about these odd looking machines.
That machine, both of these machines are extremely rare. They don't make these machines anymore. If you can find them, you're going to pay out the nose.
Wow.
I have 3 of each, and I've been offered $7,000 for one of them and $5,000 for one of those, and they're not for sale.
So this one does what?
That sews the sweatband inside the hat.
Okay, and this one is the...
Sews the bound edge ribbon on the edge of the brim.
So what is the fiber of the thread?
I use number 69.
Polyester? Nylon?
It's a nylon.
Nylon. Well, that's just so very interesting. So even all this banding stuff, is that easy for you to get, or is that getting...
Oh no,
that's getting hard, huh?
All these boxes are full of vintage ribbon. I bought out when Beaver Brands went out of business about 7, 8 years ago. I bought all the ribbon they had, and I have sold a lot of ribbon. And people are calling me all the time. I don't have any more ribbon for sale. I want this to go through my grandchildren that are going to make hats.
So you got that all worked out? That it's just gonna.
Yeah.
They're interested in it then. That's good.
My granddaughter, she's 13. She is.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's good. In the description below, be sure to click on the link where Mr. Miller really has a good slideshow about how he makes his hats. There's writing down at the very bottom of each of the slides, so don't miss that. I know I'll be noticing hats more often as I watch movies, especially old movies. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little trip to Covington, Tennessee, and do look for other videos here on YouTube about how hats are made. I found it very interesting, and I hope you did too.